Making a sourdough starter, all you really need is flour and water and a jar. To make it easier, I use a scale. So equal parts flour and water by weight. You want about 100 of each to start. You want it to be like thick pancake batter. Thick. Just gonna put a lid on it, just on top so nothing gets inside, and put it aside till tomorrow. Today we don't really have too much going on. I'm getting a little bit of activity, but maybe it's because my house is warmer. It is summer. So we're just going to discard and feed again. Take about 100 grams out. So we're gonna add 50 grams of flour. I'm just using all-purpose, by the way. And you wanna kind of keep this in a warm place and give it a good mix. And this is optional, but you can transfer it to a fresh jar. This is day 3. My starter is definitely runny, and when it's runny, it means that it's eaten everything. So you definitely, if this happens to you, add a little extra flour for this time. My house is always just a little bit warmer right now, so I'm gonna pour off the water and add some extra flour this time. So I'm just gonna feed again, the same as what we did yesterday, 50 and 50, but I'm probably gonna do 55 to 50. And if there's a little bit of a smell to it, that's totally fine. It can smell like rotten eggs or alcohol. Just keep mixing it, trust the process. So day 4, you can kind of see that it did rise a little bit and there is bubbles in there. So we're just gonna discard and feed again. Today would be a good time to put an elastic on where your starter is, and then you can see how high it rises. Or you can just use a marker. So today is day 5, and activity should be picking up a bit, but if not, just keep feeding it, trust the process, you'll get there. So we're just going to feed and discard, and hopefully it should rise in about 6 to 8 hours. It depends on how warm your house is. It's been about 9 hours, and this is where we're at. Yours might take a couple more days, but just keep going with it. I promise you, you'll get this. So as you can see, it got more bubbly last night. So as you can see, my starter got pretty active last night. It obviously like tripled in size or quadrupled in size. So it's, like I said, you just have to take time and it'll get there. It's super runny, so it obviously ate through everything and is very hungry. And it does start to have a smell to it, so just keep going. I'm going to discard half and feed again. So because it's day 7, I am going to start adding my discard. I'm going to start saving it again. You have to wait until it actually starts to get active. So how that rose, that's exactly why I only placed the lid on top, because if you were to tighten it, it would end up, all those gases would get trapped in there and then it could literally break on you, and you do not want that. So I'm just going to go a little bit more than last time, just because I definitely lost my starter off the side. But again, just feed and, or discard and feed again. You definitely want to keep an eye out for mold, because this is staying on your counter, right? So if it gets pink or fuzzy, white fuzzy, you want to restart, throw it out. And once my starter got established and I learned some things, I started to go by the look of it and not so much by how much it weighed. Because this starters have been made for how many years, and they didn't have scales back then. So it's definitely gotten a lot more complicated, I would say. I usually do keep my starter in the fridge. It's only been 2 hours and you can already see mine is starting to rise. So my starter is definitely, it rose, as you can see, and it's definitely very bubbly. It looks hungry because it's got a lot of little bubbles on the top, and it smells acidic. So I'm just going to feed it again. You can start keeping your discard and doing discard recipes if you choose. If not, just keep discarding and putting it into the garbage. Definitely don't put this down your sink, because it's apparently like cement if you do that. So once again, my starter is nice and bubbly. It's more than doubled. And that's been 3 days in a row, so I'd say I'm good to bake with this. If you have any other questions or concerns, just ask me in the comments. I'll try to answer as much as I can. When I'm not using mine, I do store mine in the fridge. You can store it after you have fed it, and it kind of slows down the feeding process or the eating process for it. But usually I'll store it after it's peaked and then fallen, and then I'll take it out and just feed it, and it's usually good to go. Sometimes it takes 2 days if you left it in there for a long time, but yeah, you can leave it in the back of the fridge and it should be good for quite a while.